Hi.
Welcome back to Have You Speed Your Pants Series 2 Episode 2.
Hopefully you're enjoying the series so far. We're having a great time.
Now, as you remember, last series we did the Porsche 911 for the second episode, and that is our most viewed video so far. So, for second episode we're doing another Porsche, and it's my favourite over the 911. It's the Porsche Boxster. So I went down to the garage, and what did you do, Dad?
I came with you.
I thought you ate the pies and the chocolate cake.
I did do that very well.
From last season. This here is the 2013 Porsche Boxster. It is mid-engined, which gives it more space for boots, one at the front and one at the rear. The colour combination of this one is white with black interior. Now we're going to have a walk around the car so we can read the stats and have a look at the whole thing. So at the front here, we've got this sort of 911 thing happening here, but there is a few differences. One, this light here, this is a bit more stripped back than the 911. The parking sensors are there. There's also a wee smiley face vent there, I like that. Porsche badge, just there. It's a nice Porsche badge. It's exactly the same as the one on the 911 we reviewed in the second episode of Series 1, and this is the third episode of Series 2. Coming around here, there's a light there, just like on the 911, and we've got the V rims happening there, very nice rims. These are 20-inch P0 tyres here, and a nice sporty looking vent. This here is where the roof folds away. Again, another boot, and it is quite different from the 911 because the 911 is more of a sloping style. As you can see, the old Boxster didn't have this spoiler here, and this new one does, which I feel gives it a nice sporting feel to it, which is very nice indeed. Now we're going to have a look at the stats now. This car is longer and wider than the old Boxster. The engine is a 2.7 litre flat 6, which produces 265 bhp and does 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.5 seconds with a top speed of 164 miles per hour. The price for this car is $138,855, which is a big price. The gearbox on this is either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed PDK. The interior is more updated than the last one. This one has flappy paddles and an automatic. The same sort of thing happening with the 911, carbon fibre on the automatic transmission. Coming round to the front again, it's exactly the same on the other side as it is on that side over there. Now we're going to have a look at the interior. The interior of this car is relatively similar to the old 911. This dash here has a few buttons that a lot of you would recognise. This one's the sport button. It sharpens up the suspension, sharpens up the gear changes, and also sharpens up the steering. This button here is the traction control off button. This button raises the spoiler. This button is just to put the roof down, just there. And this button here is to put it back up again. As you can see, it says PDK on the automatic transmission. As you can see, this is the 7-speed PDK that you can also get for a few options. These are the boot buttons. This button sends the front boot up. This button sends the back boot up. As I told you earlier, this is a mid-engine car, so it has room for 2 boots. That's the thing that's different between the 911 and the Boxster, is that this is mid-engined, the 911 is rear-engined, but one thing they do have in common is that the 911 is rear-wheel drive and so is the Boxster. The sat-nav buttons are here. You can access sat-nav with all the buttons that are on the dash. Now we're going to test out the flappy paddle gearbox. This one isn't really flappy at all because it's more on the front of the steering wheel, not on like the behind, because on the 911 that we reviewed, the flappy paddles were on the side. The speedos are there, and then it says Boxster there on its little screen there. Now let's see the flappy paddles. Up, down. Now this one is a lot harder to use than the old 911. Something else I've noticed, cup holders are there, pretty useful, and then they can be folded away. Now that concludes this review of the Porsche Boxster. I really like this car. I actually think it's cooler than the 911 we reviewed last season. It's a lot better looking, as I noticed. The interior is a lot nicer, although that was the older 911, and I think this will do pretty well against the 911 on the cooler score. And now what I've got to say to the dealers is that I've got to buy one of these over a 911, and I may have to buy one of them.
As Jack said, the Porsche Boxster has come a long way from the earlier versions. In my view now, it really does rival the 911. So we've got to see where we think it features on the coolness wall. To be honest, you can see I've already made a space just above the 911 because I think the Porsche Boxster just outshines it at this current time. Bit controversial, I know. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.